everyone, welcome to another video for SimonsSaysStamp.com. I'm starting out with my Martha Stewart Crafts scoring board, and I've cut some white cardstock to be 11 inches long by 5.5 inches tall so that I can make a 5.5 by 5.5 inch card. So it's going to be square, it's going to be a larger card. And just fold that in half so I have a perfect square. Alright, and then we're not going to do anything else to the front of the card, so I'm going to set it aside and work on the rest of the card. And I'm starting out with some white Nina Solar White cardstock. I've got two dies that I'm using that are from Simon Says Stamp. This one has this little fun little tulip. It's called Meadow Rue. And then this one is called Fresh Daisies. So I'm going to cut those out, both of them, twice with my Sizzix Big Shot machine. Okay, so I have my multi-purpose platform, a clear plate, and then I'm going to put my paper down. And then I'm going to put down my two dies. Lovely. I'll put that down, and then I'm just going to put an extra sheet of cardstock on top. That's just going to make it so that it cuts a little bit more clean. So they're really delicate and they just pop right out, so they look like that. I'm going to run this through my Sizzix one more time so I have two of each. Okay, now I have a piece of that white cardstock that I use for the card base, which is the 120 pound ultra thick white cardstock, and I'm going to cut a circle out of it. I'm using my Martha Stewart Crafts Simple Circle Cutter. I just have an old glass mat from an old slice machine, but I like to use a little bit of glass because it helps it cut better. But you can definitely do it on a regular mat as well. I'm going to take a ruler and I'm just going to line it up from corner to corner, and I'm going to make a little mark right in the center, both directions. That's going to help me find the exact center of this cardstock. If you remember, the finished card is 5.5 by 5.5, and this square piece of cardstock is 4.25 by 4.25. So I'm going to put that down in the center of my mat. I've covered it with removable adhesive, so it's really going to stay on that glass mat. And then, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little X mark right in the center of the rotating area of this circle cutter. So I just match that up over the center of that area that I marked off. And that's going to make sure that the circle that I cut is exactly in the center of the paper. So I'm going to take my little cutting thing, really carefully slide that off. And I'm going to make the circle, let's see, I think 3.5 looks about right. Alright, so I'm going to hold that down. Sorry I didn't get that on camera. I ended up gluing it down to the glass mat a little bit more. But what I did was I put the cutter in and I lightly made this cut the circle just once, and then I went over it again and then it cut it out. Normally with regular cardstock you wouldn't have to do it twice, but this is some thicker cardstock. And I'm going to put out my little craft sheet. I have some Simon Says Stamp watercolor paper. This is cut to 4x4, so it's just slightly smaller than this piece that we just did here. It's smaller than the square, but also larger than the interior circle that we cut, because we're going to have this behind that circle window. Alright, I'm using some different colors from Tim Holtz Seasonal Distress ink. This one is from the Summer Distress ink. It's called Picked Raspberry. And then these two are from the Spring Seasonal Distress ink, and it's Squeezed Lemonade and Shaded Lilac. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put down some of this ink on my craft sheet. You kind of want kind of like an organic shape. I'll put some purple in right over there. Maybe some pink right over here. Okay, now I'm going to take a Ranger Mini Mister, and I'm just going to mist this with lots of water because I really want that to react. Alright, I'm going to take my watercolor paper, which is 4x4, and I'm just going to put that down, and I'm going to kind of smush it just a little bit so the color kind of mix a little bit. And then I'll lift that up, and it's going to be really wet. So I'm going to let the corners kind of drip a little. Okay, and now I'm going to dry this with my heat tool because I want it to be completely dry because I'm going to do some more little splotches. Okay, so my watercolor paper is basically dry. I just dried it with my heat tool. And now I'm just going to, I can see some dots of yellow and some pink and some purple. So I'm just going to kind of spot pick those up, and it's just going to add a little bit of dimension. So I'll pick up some purple. And I'll pick up some yellow up here. Some yellow and a little more of that pink. Maybe some purple right there. It's just going to get a really fun kind of splotchy look. Alright, so and notice how I kind of turn a little bit orange down there, kind of a fun effect. So I'm going to go ahead and dry this with my heat tool so I can keep moving on the card. And the stamps I'm going to use, this is from the July Simon Says Stamp Card Kit. This stamp set is available on its own now, so if you want to buy this just on its own, go ahead and pick it up. I'm going to use the You Are Absolutely Delightful. Alright, and then I'm going to use some white embossing powder. This is American Crafts White. Looks like it went on there perfectly. Alright, I'm bringing my craft sheet back, and I'm going to take the shaded lilac, and I'm just going to go completely over that stamped and embossed area. And I'm going to use a dry cloth to wipe that down. Wipe off anything off the embossing powder. Alright, I'm going to take a little bit off these ends. So I'm going to adhere the watercolor paper directly to the center of the card. It's going to go straight on the card front. Now I'm going to take the circle window that we cut, and we're going to put it right over top, but we're going to put it on dimensional adhesive. So I'm going to put some dimensional adhesive in all four corners. Alright, and now we're going to place these flowers over the top, just like this, to kind of create a little scene. In fact, maybe I didn't need two sets. Maybe I only needed one of each. But we're going to bring them in probably just like this on the one side. So I'm going to turn these right here, and I realize I'm going to need to cut these off. So, alright, I'm going to take that foam adhesive, and I'm going to cut these into little itty bitty pieces so that I can use them on the die cuts. So I'm going to put the foam adhesive on the little petals and the centers, and then down here at the bottom I'm going to put a little tiny bit of adhesive only where it's going to touch the edge of the window. Alright, so I have the foam pieces back there. I'm going to bring this in right here. Oh, no, I don't want that one right there. I want it down a little bit. Want it like that. So now I'm going to take some Tombow Mono multi-glue, and I'm just going to take a little scrap of paper. It doesn't even matter what it is. Just putting a little bit of glue on the end of it. And then what I'm going to do is just slide this, kind of tap it underneath that area that's going to be adhered. And then I'll just go ahead and stick that down. And then I don't have a bunch of, you know, tons of adhesive popping out or anything like that. So I'm going to do the same for these, put some foam adhesive just on these like top 3 tulips, and then down here on this end. Alright, so we have the basic area of the card done. Now I'm going to take the sentiment and we're going to be putting it right over the bottom, just like that. I'm going to put on some dimensional adhesive. Lovely. And there's the card for today. Definitely a larger card than I'm used to, but I do have some 6x6 envelopes that this would go into. It looks really, really pretty. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.